for fast, cheap, and reliable Madden 21 Ultimate Team coins. Make sure you guys go check out my sponsor, Easy Mutt. Use code VENOM at checkout for 5% off. Yo, what's good guys, Venomfire here, back to another video, and today I'm going to be showing you guys what I think is the best blitz in Madden 21. This is a very unknown blitz. It's unique. Really nobody else I've ever seen run this blitz, so it's going to be new to every single viewer. It's similar to the big nickel over G blitz concept, but it's going to be a little bit different, and it's going to be out of the nickel normal formation. Before you get into the video, hit that subscribe button if you're enjoying the content. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this video. And yeah, let's just jump straight into it. So like I mentioned, nickel normal. I'm in the multiple defensive playbook right now. Nickel normal is also in some playbooks like 4-6, I believe, as well as Chiefs. Those are some of the most popular ones. But yeah, nickel normal, one thing you're going to do is you're going to throw safeties here at linebacker. That's going to help out with your coverage. And the play we're going to be running today is going to be Overload Blitz. Right there at the top you see, make sure you don't confuse it with Under Smoke. They're very similar play arts, but you see one automatically has one of those linebackers manned up with the running back, and the other has 7 guys rushing. We want Overload Blitz right there at the top. Again, it doesn't really matter with your personnel too much, but one thing I do recommend is getting someone who has some nice speed here in the slot. This Guidery guy, I'm not sure how to pronounce his name, but he has like 96, 97 speed. One of the fastest corners in the game, actually. So we're going to be rocking with him right there. And I actually wanted to use a bad team, so I'm going to use the Jets actually against the Saints, because if you didn't know, the Saints have 2, superstar tackles, just to show that the blitz can really work against any offense. So we're going to come out in like a little spread set right here. This works against every single formation, gun bunch, gun trips. So formation is obviously not an issue. But yeah, let's just go ahead, jump straight into our setup now. First things first, what you want to do is you're just going to pinch everybody. So what you do when you're pinching is you're going to press R1, RB, and then down on that left stick, that's going to pinch everybody. What pinch does, it's going to press your DBs, it's going to pinch your defensive line, and then it's also going to pinch your linebackers. So really the most key ones are pinching your D-line and linebackers, but you also typically do want to have those corners pressed as well. The next thing you're going to go ahead and do is you actually want to move this cornerback in just a step. I know he already is pretty close depending on the formation. But if you were in a 5 wide, he would probably be more out here. So you typically have to move him in just a little bit. Right about here is good. You don't want to move him too close right there. You don't want him to be too far away. Just kind of find that sweet spot right about there is good. Now, determining the player you're going to be using. Usually you want to be using the guy that is on the blitz. That's going to be your user. You never want to use the safety, the guy that's manned up on the running back. Because depending on if they're in a route, usually you will not want to be on them. But yeah, you're going to use your McDougal. Now, one thing you could do that I like to do, just an extra step, is throw my user on a little spy, because sometimes with the blitz, it'll automatically blitz you, meaning that you sometimes could like run a little bit further than you will, but we'll be talking about user a little bit later. Depending on the formation, you might want to bring these safeties down a little bit in man coverage so that you can't get like quick slanted or whatever. And the last thing I would recommend is shading over the top. Some good abilities to run this blitz are going to be one step ahead, acrobats for those quick reads, things like that. But yeah, that's pretty much it for our blitz setup. Now, one thing you're going to do with your user is you're going to have to kind of hover. So I'm going to stand right in the default spot when you pinch your linebackers, right about here. Then when the ball is snapped, I'm going to hold my left trigger and kind of shift or strafe over just like a step to the left. So if it was flipped, I would use your Ashton Davis right there on the left, and I would strafe to the right. But since we're running the blitz from the right-hand side, you actually can run it from both sides. You're going to stand here, and you're just going to kind of shuffle over to that left side. We'll go ahead, snap the ball. I'm going to shuffle over just a little bit, and boom, you see that instant pressure. It almost kind of looks like we're getting a little disengaged from the inside. You saw how the interior offensive line shifted completely to the left to account for my user, and that corner is obviously flying off the edge. Now, like I mentioned, it's similar to the big nickel over G1. The biggest difference is that out of big nickel over G, you have to go ahead and slant your defensive line inside. I love that with this blitz, and it honestly does not make it work. It still works, but honestly, it's not as high a success rate. Now with this blitz, it's not necessarily going to work every single time, but it has a pretty good success rate. I would say it's a little bit better than that big nickel over G1 that you all should know. But again, with this setups, what you want to do, pinch your entire defense. That's RB down on that left stick. And then you want to move these safeties down in the box a little bit, move that corner in. Obviously, safeties is optional, but you do want to move that slot cornerback in just a little bit. And then with your user, throw them on a spy. The spy is going to be the same as the blitz as far as cutting and usering is concerned, so it's not really any difference. But yeah, you're going to go ahead and snap the ball, shift over to that side a little bit. And sometimes when you shift over, you saw that time I shifted over and that defensive end actually got the pressure, which will happen. You really won't see this happen with the big nickel over G blitz. So sometimes I did a pretty bad job of shuffling over there. I kind of went a little too slow and I wasn't too close to the line. But if this were big nickel over G, it would probably just be blocked. I would not be getting any pressure, but because this is like the nickel normal, you see that the right guard usually will just slide over and take that player regardless, just the stock play. And our defensive end, so obviously if you can get like a middle linebacker here, Patrick Willis, Sam Mills, Devin White, any of those really fast guys, Deion Jones, I recommend. I usually put my middle linebackers at the end anyways, but this will just help in the blitz. And that was a pretty slow defender, but you still saw how quickly we actually got the pressure. So again, it's very easy to set up, very simple. Again, pinch your entire defense, press straight over the top, do whatever. And then you can kind of move your user a little bit closer. He starts out right around here. I would probably move him about here, just like directly over that nose tackle on the right. And then you go ahead, snap the ball, shift over, boom. That's the really quick pressure. That's probably the fastest pressure you will see. And again, this is on a very high right tackle. He's the one over there, so you can't complain that it's like a 70 right tackle. That's one of the best tackles in the game. He has abilities, he has everything. So yeah, very, very solid blitz. Now, if they do block the running back, the blitz still can come through, but usually it will get blocked. But I'm going to show you guys a bluff blitz option anyways, because if you can continue to get pressure with this, they're obviously going to make some adjustments on the offensive side of the ball, and they might go ahead and just start blocking the running back every play. So obviously you don't want to send 5 against that 6-man protection. I'll just show what it looks like with my running back blocked here. We'll snap the ball, shift over, and you see how that DN still does get pressure, but obviously it's not as good. It's not similar to the 1-4-6 where having the running back manned up will kind of glitch him out. He still does go in pass protect. Sometimes if that slot cornerback can get the pressure, he will get there in time, especially if it's a really fast corner, so I'll try and show that again here. But for the majority of the times, it's going to get blocked by that running back, even if he is on the weak side, so he's on the left hip of Breeze, and that didn't really make a difference. So again, I'll kind of hover over. There you saw the cornerback, and we got the pressure. So not sure how IDing and slide blocking adjusts for that, but you saw we're still able to get a sack with the 6-man protection, only sending those 5 people. But let's move into some of the bluff blitz options. Now, I would recommend setting my zone drops to a certain number, but necessarily you don't have to. So if I want to play a little bit further over the top, pretty much what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to put Ashton Davis on a curl flat, and then I'm also going to throw L1 on a curl flat, just like this. With your user, you're going to user him. Now, we have 4-man rushing. Now, do I want 4-man rushing? No, because honestly, I think 3-man rush, as crazy as it sounds, might be better than 4-man rush. So what I'm going to do is actually man up that defensive end on the left to Alvin Kamara like this, and then we're just going to user Bradley McDougald right here. I could go ahead and actually throw that DN in a curl flat instead of Ashton Davis, but it's going to be worse coverage down the field. You can almost throw it at that D lineman. Now, if you have middle linebackers there, that's kind of a different story. But in the case, I have outside linebackers, so I'm going to put my inside linebacker in that curl flat and then just man that D lineman on the running back. Very good coverage. You're going to have some help over the top, or you're going to have some help on the sidelines for crossers, posts, corner routes. So really what you're going to be worrying about is anything inside the numbers, inside the hashes. 3-man rush, so it's not going to be terrible pass rush. Definitely better than 2-man. And overall, you're going to get some nice coverage. Now, for something you just saw I did, I actually went ahead and shaded outside. And the reason for that was just because they were kind of aligned weird. That's something you can do against like spread, but usually you will only have to do it out of like a man rush. You actually adjusted this guy to go in front, which is what we don't want. We want him. And really, if you're on offense, this looks the exact same as the blitz. You're not going to think anything different. Obviously, he's going to probably know that it's man coverage, but you can kind of hover over. Boom, you see the coverage. Pretty good. Throw it deep, and that's a pick. Ooh, the one-hander. But yeah, really nice way to bluff blitz. Usually when I bluff blitz, I like to go completely all out. So that's what I do. I just send 3. I go from 6 to 3. You can also go ahead and throw L1 on a bluff blitz. That's going to put him in a 3 rec. Now sometimes these zones are a little bit weird, but this definitely could be beneficial. Obviously, what I'm probably going to do if I'm putting that player in a yellow zone is I'm just going to put both my linebackers in curl flats, or just put that one on the right, and then I would probably put X in a curl flat as well. Just user this player right here on the left. Now this is still going to be a 3-man rush, but there's no one responsible for the running back. So when you're running this style of a bluff blitz, you got to bank on them blocking the running back. I will block the running back, but now you're actually going to get super good coverage down the field. You see that 3 rec is literally following the drag, so those are obviously better zone type bluff blitzes than man coverage, because he's already manned up. You don't necessarily need another guy to follow, but he'll sometimes lurk from drag to in route, depending. Curls, hitches, he's really nice. So one more time, taking a look at that setup. The first one was L1 in a curl flat, and then Ashton Davis manned up like this. This is a look at our first setup. The second setup was going to be this, where you're going to actually use your Ashton Davis. So they're very similar. The only difference between the two bluff blitzes is going to be that 3 receiver hook and one player not manned up on the running back. So very similar concepts, but overall you see the running back on a wheel route was completely covered the entire play from our curl flat. So really the routes that will beat your user is going to be like a little option route or an angle route. So be careful about that, but flats should be covered decently. And yeah, so that's pretty much going to do it for the video. If you guys enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new again, and peace. I'm out of here.